Hey everybody, welcome back to Suck Less Saturday. It's Neil and Steph. We're going to continue on talking about timers today. We're going to give you an idea and an assignment for how to work through par times in your dry fire.
You need a shot timer because that which gets measured gets worked on. The Range Tech timer is the official timer of active self-protection because it is versatile, reliable, feature-rich, and very economical. Check out all it can do at the link below.
All right, so Steph, last week we talked about different levels of timers, why we think they're important, and how we think they'll help some folks. This week, let's actually show them. What do you think?
Yeah, we did what the timer is. Let's show you real quick how to use them. This should be a really short, easy video. And again, if this isn't something that's helpful for you, maybe it'll be something that's helpful for someone you love or care about or want to help or be a good ambassador in the gun community. So let's talk about a couple of things. The main things I think are par times and shot times. What are they and how do you use them?
Yep, exactly. I think that if we need to improve on something or want to improve on something, we have to understand what we can improve and where the aspect is within that process that can improve. So this is a process-based game that we play when we start shooting guns. It's all about a process. So we worry about the outcomes a lot of times, and we focus on that. But if we focus on the process, in many cases we can improve so much more dramatically and so much quicker because we're focusing on the right things versus the outcome.
Sounds like a video we have coming up in a couple of weeks. But
right.
Anyway.
So today let's talk about a par timer. We're going to use the Range Tech timer here. I've got this thing on. We're connected. And we're going to have Steph basically run me through a few draws to first shots.
I'm going to Vanna White here.
You're going to Vanna White?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, well, you step up.
Then I'm going to step up here, so hopefully you guys can see this a little bit well. This is, like we talked about last week, the Range Tech timer is an app-based timer, so you're going to run it through your tablet or through your phone. We like to use the tablet because it's so big and visible. It
helps on the video.
And all of that. So, but it works on your phone as well. So what we are going to work on first is par time. Now, because this is a, dry fire, it's not going to be able to pick up his shot. So we're going to hear the first beep in a par time is the go signal, and Neil is going to start to draw his gun on that go signal, and the second beep is going to happen at 2.5 seconds, and he should be completed with his process at that time, have the trigger pressed, and should have what he can call as an accurate shot on his target. So are you ready, Neil?
Yeah, I should have seen my sights, pressed my trigger.
All right.
That's the thing.
I'm going to kind of lean out of the way a little bit. Hopefully they can see it so they can see your thing. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Okay, and it says par expired, and I don't think, did you make it?
Yeah, I pulled the trigger right
under
after.
it? Yeah. Just right under it? Okay.
It's kind of hard because I had to modulate a little because I really cleared fast and got out of the holster. So really, let me do one correctly.
I was like, he's never gonna, he's trying to do a full 2.5 second draw, and this, let me tell you a secret, is one of the most challenging things Neil Widener can do. Anyone that's been in a class with Neil Widener knows that going quote unquote slower than he can is very, very difficult for him. So we almost never ask him to demonstrate a longer draw than he actually can do. So we're going to ask Neil to take the full 2.5 seconds.
I've had some of my best draws when I'm trying to do a 3-second draw. Some of my fastest. So yes, I will
take a full 2.5 seconds and try to be depressing that timer right on the 2.5 second, that end of that par time beep. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Okay, and that time he was a little bit slow because I harassed him. And that's fine. We're trying to modulate it right to that 2.5 second, 2.5 seconds. So let's try another one. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Got there a little quick.
A little bit quick,
that was probably a
but
2-second
really
draw.
good. Now, one thing that we can do to help us modulate this time, Neil, do you remember what that is?
Yeah, I'm counting in my head.
So you guys can't hear him, but he is counting in his head. What we have done is practiced timing our draws to certain words and phrases in our heads. We count out the seconds as 1 Chicago, 2 Chicago, 3 Chicago, click. So he's counting that out. So in theory, Neil's not actually able to do this, but in theory, you should. You should be able to know exactly when your 2.5 second draw is. So that's what he's trying to do to modulate in his head. As you're doing that at home, you can program your words. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. Very, very fancy way to say your words help modulate your speed. And you can also go vice versa. So anyway, let's try just one more time, or maybe a couple more times. Shooter ready, stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 Chicago, 3 Chicago, click.
Nice. So that was just about perfect. Very, very good.
Yeah. I just pulled in the middle of the third Chicago.
Right.
3 Chicago or something like that.
You want to do one more?
Click. Yep.
All right, shooter ready? Stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 Chicago, 3 click. There we
Nice.
go.
So see, he's got it. Took a couple of draws to get him in there, and I'm very proud of him. That actually is very difficult for him to do because, Neil, there you have your speed people and you have your accuracy. You know, what we tend to bias towards. Neil's a speed first person, and I am an accuracy first person. So while I have trouble sometimes with the speed, he has trouble sometimes with the speed as well in the opposite direction.
Right.
0.00.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to set that par time to 1.5. So now it's going to be 1 Chicago, 2 click.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so now we're moving it down to 1.5. This is a pretty big jump unless you're used to working at this speed anyway, which Neil is. 1.5 is easily within his range to do without even really warming up. So this isn't a very big jump for him. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 click.
There we go. And you can see he got that one right away. He's a little bit warmed up, but he was also talking out loud. And as we talk about in our classes, that does make a big difference. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 click.
Very nice. And we speak at depth
I was a
about
little behind that one.
about neuro-linguistic programming and different drills called the walk-down drill, where we really work out efficiencies of your draw and how to use a timer on this. And if Sam could link those in the description, some of those videos of us doing that, so you can understand why we're counting out loud, what the neuro-linguistic programming is, and kind of see it in action, that would be great. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 click. Now the big thing here, working on pars, is making sure you see your sights or your dot.
Right.
Now I can pull the trigger in 0.2 seconds. Well, not really, but I can pull the trigger super fast without seeing my sights.
Right.
But the idea here is we're working down all all of the process is perfect. So we see our sights, we get a good efficient draw and all of that kind of stuff. But if you don't see your sights when that second beep goes off and you pull the trigger, that's not a good rep.
Right, it doesn't. You did not get it, in fact. You need to see your sights, and in theory, you need to be getting that trigger pulled without disturbing the sights before that second, so actually hit the shot that you were making at whatever level of accuracy you're looking for at that point. Lots of times when we're looking at speed, it's a bigger, 8-inch circle type thing. Although Neil, I can tell, is aiming at much smaller, much smaller targets down there because that's where he's at, and we're actually pretty close to where he's shooting. So let's try one more.
Yep.
Shooter ready? Stand by.
1 Chicago, 2 click.
Nice. I think you're right on that. If you saw your,
I saw
your
it.
dot.
I'm good.
All right, very
all right.
good. Then the other thing that we can't really demonstrate with down here in our basement very easily is the shot timer, which is the other thing. So we'll just quickly explain that. Rather than the par time giving you a beep, a go signal, and a second beep as a stop signal that's set for a specific time, what the shot timer function does is it tells you how, it gives you the go signal, that first beep, and then it stops timing when it hears your shot break.
Right.
So if your shot was 1.23, that's what will show up on the timer. If it was 2.75, that's what will show up on the timer. So it is exactly how fast your specific shot was. So there's a little bit less of judgment call, whether I made it or didn't make it.
Yeah.
However, you're still having to know if you saw your sights, or if you're in live fire, you can verify that shot. Did I actually hit what I was aiming at? So those are the two really basic things. I mean, you can use those two things to build all kinds of practice and programs, but those are really the two basic things you will start out with measuring with the shot timer is your par time and your shot time. So that's basically the how. Let's, do you have an assignment for him this week? And then we can jump into our series about why.
So the assignment is, if you've got the Range Tech or the Pocket Pro or the app or whatever it is, start with whatever you feel like your draw is. Because last week we gave you assignment, kind of go figure out what your draw is and be honest with yourself. So if you had a 2-second draw to first shot, then super. That's where you're going to start, and you're going to set your par time at 2 seconds. And then you're going to do 10 perfect reps in 2 seconds.
So by perfect reps, you mean?
Perfect reps means that you draw, you saw your sights, they were on the target, and you press the trigger at that second beep. And so you got them perfect 10 times. Okay, and then what I want you to do is knock off 2/10. So then you're going to go down to 1.8 seconds, and you're going to try to give me 10 more reps there, and you're going to see if you can push yourself to improve to be a little bit quicker.
I would say all 10 of those don't have to be perfect.
No,
push yourself
you're just
and
going
do
to
10
do
of
10
them
Yep.
at 1.8.
Yep. And then, but what you're going to find is hopefully over half of them you're there. So if you get about 5 out of the 10 there, hey, you know what? That's improvement, and you're myelinating more pathway there that is going to help you be a little bit quicker. If you get half of them or better, then I want you to take off 2 more 10s. And so then I want you to go to 1.6 seconds, and it's going to feel wonky. The wheels are going to fall off, and that's completely okay. But give me 10 draws as fast as you can go, and see if you can physically move fast enough to do that. Okay.
And dry fire is a great time to push that speed because there is no high risk. I mean, there's a high risk as long as you're shooting at a safe background. You don't have the risk of accidentally fumbling. You know, so you can really push yourself until the wheels fall off as you are working time. And we'll go through this when we talk about more how to use it with micro drills and things like this. You don't really want to be working speed at something that you can get 100% of your shots. You really want to be in there where you're hitting 60 to 70% of your shots is really your time. And then you'll have a couple of those will be excellent and you'll be well under, and a couple of those the wheels will fall off. That's where you are. So it's not where you're perfect. That doesn't push you. That doesn't improve you. It's where you can hit most of the shots most of the time. That's where you are.
Right.
And then what Neil's talking about, you drop down and you can really pay attention to where your wheels are falling off, and that's where things get fun. That's where you can, but that's a whole nother video.
So again, to recap that assignment, if your draw to shot is 2 seconds or higher, you're going to start wherever your number is, and you're going to go down 2/10 every 10 times, and then you're going to finish back at your start time. So do 10 more perfect at the end. You're going to find it's way easier at the end after that exercise of doing it faster. If your draw to first shot is less than 2 seconds, so if you're a 1.9 to a 1.0, you probably want to maybe gauge if you're dropping 2/10 or 1/10. So if you're already at a 1.1 second draw, dropping 2/10 is a lot, so just drop 1. So step it down based on where you're at in your training and with your speed as we go faster and faster and faster. So I typically start at 1.1 and then I come down to 0.9. I do skip 1, but at 0.8 the wheels fall off for me. And at 0.7, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I tend to have to start a little bit higher. 1.3, 1.4 is where I tend to start and work down from. That's where I can hit perfectly every time without much.
And understand this is a perishable skill. So, you know, once upon a time, you guys have probably seen me on camera doing these in 0.7s.
Yeah.
I have not been putting the work in, so I'm a little rusty, and some of that has gone away. So I'm kind of starting back up a little bit higher and working my way down, and then coming back. I try to finish my sessions at 1 second flat, just so I can feel it.
And we're giving actually finished times basically. Once you start getting under that 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds, those are excellent times for your self-defenders. That is fantastic. So if you find that is not where you are right now and you're trying to get your stuff cleared and you're trying to find, and you're at the 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, we have people coming to class that are starting with 3 to 6 second draws. That's not unusual, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's these timers, and we're going to go into this again even more, but they're not here to shame you. This isn't, if you don't start, you stay there. Everybody started in a totally different place than where we are here right now. And it can be scary to get out there and go, oh crap, everybody else is talking about a 1.5 second draw, and I'm at a 5 second draw. Actually, people that are a 1.5 second draw love they love new people that's coming into something
because they were there.
They were there. They know exactly where you are, and they're excited about that. So if that's where you are and you want to talk about it, and I would rather than be ashamed of where you are, understand that I'm so proud of you for jumping out onto that line. Everybody else is sitting on the couch saying they're a 1.5 second draw without ever having had to prove it on a line in front of people or ever having to prove it to themselves with a timer. And you're doing it. So if you find out where you are, you've already won. You're already so far ahead of the game. And it's one of the things I'm really passionate about. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, is putting some pressure on yourself with a timer and why that is a good, amazing, incredible, fun thing that that you shouldn't shy away from.
So join us in the the Ask Dry Fire Challenge on Facebook if you'd like to come talk about this with other folks that are doing this. We have a good time. You can put a video of yourself up there, get some real high-end folks giving you some critiques. It's always very positive. If it gets negative, I just boot them out because we're here to get better. There are groups out there that will knife hand you. We're not one of those. We're not going to be one of those. But come join us. You can see some folks out there that have really seen some improvement over the years. I'm thinking of Tori Soper is one that embraced the group a long time ago, and man, that guy is fast. It's fun to watch him. He posts a lot of videos of himself doing it. I post one now and again. Steph and John do. I mean, there's stuff up there. So come join us. Hang out there and you'll get tips. Just knowing is the first step, but then you also have to know how to improve that. If you want to improve that, come talk to us about it. We'll help you out with that. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.